Okay, let's get started. Hi, I'm Bill and welcome to another video on the Astro Vagabond channel. And this video here is going to kick off something new for 2024 where I'm going to start to do videos around my new moon trips. I'll share with you what I did as far as data capture, some highlights of how I processed it, and then at the end I'll show the completed image. Also, if you find something of value in any of my videos, feel free to check out the video description where there's an opportunity there where you can buy me a coffee. There's a link there if you'd like to buy me a coffee to say thanks because maybe you got something of value out of one of my videos, or maybe I was entertaining or whatever. And there's also a link to PayPal as well. All right, so this video is around IC342, also known as Caldwell 5, and I guess people often refer to it as the hidden galaxy, and that's because it's kind of close to the Milky Way, and there's kind of the dust and everything of the Milky Way that kind of obscures this galaxy a bit, as I understand it. So here's a picture of the setup. Today is the let's get that 20th of December. So I was out at this location on the 8th and 9th of December 2023. And so this was kind of my setup there. You'll see I have my EdgeHD 8 as well as my RedCat 51. But this image that we're going to kind of step through was collected with my EdgeHD 8. So I traveled some distance to get down to the Palm Canyon Campground down in the Borrego Springs area. I was kind of looking around to see where there might be favorable weather. And while it was going to be dry in other places like GMARS at Landers, California, it was the winds that I was trying to handle, and Borrego Springs' forecast for winds was very favorable. So I decided to drive down from San Mateo, which is up in the San Francisco area. I spent the night in Goleta, and then I traveled on to Indio, California, where there's a Costco, so I could refuel, pick up some groceries, and then I headed out to the Palm Canyon Campground right outside Borrego Springs. Pretty nice area. I'd highly recommend this site for someone looking to image where you don't mind some of the nuances of imaging at a campground where sometimes there's headlights that can pass through and those type of things. All in all, I'd definitely rate this site a B+, and I could definitely see myself going back there again. I think it was $35 a night, and since I'm a senior, I think I got a little bit of a discount. I'll put a link to the this page here. The campground is in the Anza-Borrego Desert State Park. It's a beautiful area if you like desert like I do, and so I'll put this link in the video description. Here was my rig, my current state of my EdgeHD 8, and I'm going to be making some changes to it in 2024, so maybe you want to, if you're interested in the EdgeHD 8, you might want to hit the notification bell, so as I put up new content around the EdgeHD 8, you become aware of it. But I'm really starting to dial things in on my EdgeHD 8. No surprise, key to getting nice stars is making sure every time you start the evening, check your collimation. I got lazy there in the past, but not anymore. So here was Site 77, my van. Patrick Kerrigan spent a night, him and Flora spent the night. So we had two vans in that spot, and Patrick Kerrigan, he has a channel called Patrick's Astro and stuff. You might want to check that out. He posts some good content. So, and then here's the other view. There's a nice picnic table, a nice cover, you know, for in the summertime, I imagine, when it's very hot out and the sun's out. And then a little grill where I was able to put my butane stove. So a nice sight. A few field mice running around at night, but other than that, typical desert stuff. All right, so that's about that. So let's get into the data acquisition part, and we'll start with Nina. I use nighttime imaging and astronomy, also known as Nina. I used it at one time. I moved to ASI Air Plus for a while, and now I'm back at Nina, where I will stay. For me, as my needs changed, I needed to move off the ASI Air, and Nina fills those needs, new needs that I have now. You know, pretty much standard Nina stuff here, but here is the sequence, the advanced sequencer sequence that I built. I have built a series of templates that I use to build my sequences, and I've done, you know, several targets and everything, but pretty much standard sequence I expect for many. I love the RoboCopy, the ability to write to the main drive on my Eagle 5S and then also copy everything to a thumb drive, so I have a backup copy. You know, standard stuff, cool camera, set tracking. Here is the target. Then you have your triggers like meridian flip and autofocus after an HFR increase. I also autofocus after a temperature change of 2 degrees Celsius, and also every hour. And the way I like to do it is I like to use loops. So as you see here, at the start of the evening, I tell this sequence to run until astronomical dawn, and or run as long as my target is above 30 degrees altitude. And then all I do is I just loop through the red, green, blue filters. I take one image of each filter, change filter, take an image, change filter, take an image, and then I dither, and then I drop through the loop again. Very simple sequence. I find a lot of value in this, and the reason is because I don't have to guess. I let it run. I'm never quite sure how long it takes for an autofocus, how long it takes for a dither. So when I'm planning my evening, I want to get maximum exposures out of that evening. And so if I set the number of images I want, I can often wind up with an uneven amount of sub-exposures per filter. So I just find the looping adds a lot of value for me. Different people have different needs and probably do different things accordingly. And then we just kind of come at the end of the night. We've reached astronomical dawn, or the target has dropped below 30 degrees. And then I have a stop guiding. I have RoboCopy shut down, give it a little bit of time so it can finish any writes that it needs to do to the second drive, and then I have it warm the camera, and then park the scope. So on the imaging side, the highlight there was I was getting some good autofocus runs. I used the Hocus Focus plugin within Nina, and another thing I like about the Hocus Focus plugin is it has a feature called Aberration Inspector, but I find that the Hocus Focus focusing is a little bit better, provides better results than the native Nina focus routine. So that was just kind of the basics of my data acquisition. Again, we can just go back to the sequence real quick. I was taking 120-second exposures, at basically the unity gain and offset for my ASI 533 Pro camera, and then I effectively dither after every loop, and that's pretty simple there. So let's go now into the data. So I think I covered everything here. If you're not a Nina user, you might want to check it out, see if it can provide some additional benefit to you versus what you might be using today. Otherwise, I don't see myself moving off of Nina anytime soon. All right, so let's get out of here, and now let's go into PixInsight. So pretty much standard type processing workflow for an RGB target is what I used. I started with weighted batch pre-processing, and I'll just kind of show you what I had. I had about 4 hours and 26 minutes of data. So in the way I do things these days, I don't use bias because I can provide the bias for calibration in the flat darks. So I have my darks, I have darks, I have dark flats, I have my flats, I have my lights, and then in calibration, we can expand this a little bit. The basic stuff I do is I use a cosmetic correction and process, and then also I set my output pedestal to automatic and just let PixInsight handle that. And so that's pretty straightforward there. And let's see what I had as far as post-calibration. So I basically had an hour and 26 minutes of each filter for a total of 4 hours and 26 minutes. And again on my lights, that's not what I want. I want up here. If we go here and we slide over time each light was taken, what the right ascension declination, what my focal length was, and what the pixel size was for the camera. So after I run that, we'll get out of here. What I effectively wind up with is 3 masters. So I have a red, green, and blue. Kind of straightforward stuff. You get this right out of the masters. I use the auto crop feature, so they're already cropped. And then first thing I do is I use linear fit to try to equalize the channels. Again, you're going to find that different people do different things different ways in PixInsight. I think a lot of the knock that PixInsight gets is that there's more than one way to accomplish a goal in PixInsight. So, you know, kind of pick the one that works best for you, that's providing the best results, and kind of move on from there. So after I do the linear fit, I do a channel combination, which creates an RGB image, and then we can kind of go over to this one here. Essentially, working through my workflow of I combine the red, the green, and the blue. I don't have to crop because I've already cropped. I ran Grexpert on this, and now with the latest version, you don't need to leave PixInsight. It'll do it right within PixInsight now, so you don't have to open up the standalone application and everything. And then I do a solver for an astronomical, position solve. And then I use color calibration. And really what I'm finding is adding a lot of value is Blur Exterminator, Star Exterminator, and Noise Exterminator. If you're not familiar with Russ Croman's Exterminator series, you have to pay for them, but I'm finding tremendous value out of them, in particular with Blur Exterminator now being let me just add this real quick, now with AI version 4. So amazing what it can do to both your stars and your structures in your target. So okay, I run through that, and then at that point, as you see, this is still in the linear form because of the green line. I've removed the stars. Let me see, my stars are here. So I've taken those out, and now I'm going to start to make this image nonlinear with histogram transformation, and then I run another noise exterminator on it, and then I do another histogram transformation, and then I do a few things here to focus in on the structures, trying to sharpen the structures a bit. For instance, here's my sharpening mask for this image, and again, trying to make small changes to where if I notice what I did, it might be too much. So again, just kind of being careful, but I use a series of masks in the workflow. I'm sure you're using your workflow that's working for you, and then but ultimately what we get to is the image, and where do we have that here? I think here is the completed image, and it's using this ICC profile transformation, then takes the completed image and puts it in a color format that's appropriate for viewing on websites and things like that. So this was the result of one night of imaging, 4 hours and 26 minutes. Maybe we'll look at it here, and I'll kind of expand it a bit. Again, I'll put my Astrobin link in so you can kind of see it. And part of what I was trying to do in PixInsight was bring some definition into these spiral structures without blowing things out, like this core here, and that's where your masks become important. And I'm pretty happy with the with this color-wise. So my feeling is once you make your image non-linear, you're in pure artistic mode, so do what you think is best. I do look at other people's images on Astrobin to kind of get a feel for what others might be doing, but at the end of the day I have to make the decisions of what looks good to me. I'm not in a competition with anybody. I'm not trying to get the Astrobin Picture of the Day award. I'm just trying to create an image that's pleasing to me, and I know that I could probably improve this image if I added some more data, and because I save everything, there's an opportunity for me to image this again and bring in additional data. Not only could I bring in additional RGB data, I could image with my HA filter, see what HA may be in some of the nebulas associated with this target. I could run my luminous filter, bring in some more detail possibly, although I've kind of moved more towards just spend more time on RGB rather than do a 50% ratio of luminous to RGB. I have the time, I'm retired. I travel to places where there's generally good weather, and so I'll just invest the time in more RGB. But clearly I could shoot some HA, and then I can blend that into this image as well. So I actually had about a half a night's more of data that I forgot about. So it didn't wind up in this image. Otherwise, I would have had about 6.5 hours, 7 hours. But I think, based upon my standards, I'm pretty happy with it. So I hope you like this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up. As always, like, share, and subscribe. This will be part of a new series where I will share images that I've generated through my new moon trips. I'll give you a little bit of overview on what scripts I used in Nina, what my exposure times were, and those type of things. And then I think as I get down the road in 2024, maybe I'll spend a little bit more time on some of the PixInsight work that I do within PixInsight to try to enhance these images, bring the structure out more, yet keep the background, kind of like structure free in a sense, because there's no significant structure there and those type of things. So, all right. Wherever you may be in the world, I hope you're looking forward to some good weather this new moon in January. Other than that, see you next time.